corrections this morning?
Motion to approve the July 24th minutes.
Motion by James to approve the minutes, second by Tom. All in favor? We're unanimous. We have an agenda. Any additions for the agenda? Carol. Danielle. James and Lynn. We do have one walk-in, and if there's anything else.
Motion to approve of today's agenda.
Motion by James to approve the agenda with additions.
Carol.
Carol second. All in favor? We're unanimous. I know Alyssa wanted to wait. You want to do it now? Okay. Come on up. Good morning. Congratulations.
Bodyguard.
If you just turn a microphone on.
How's that? Does that work? Okay. Well, good morning, and thank you so very much for your time. I know many of you, but I'll introduce myself still. My name is Alyssa Schock. This is my little sister, Sydney Allard. My mom is Dr. Jara Stewart, who hopefully will be joining us soon. But I was born and raised here in the Mission Valley, actually born in the old Mission Hospital. I currently still live in St. Ignatius. And I have enjoyed living here my entire life. Like I said, I still live here in Mission. But I am the current Mrs. Montana 2025, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about that. Thank you. So I was crowned in April, and I'll be traveling to Las Vegas next month, actually, to represent Montana on the national stage. A little about me: I'm a doctor of physical therapy. I specialize in women's health, in the perinatal space, and hormone changes as women age. My private practice is in Missoula currently, but I've also worked on the reservation in philanthropy for many years. Many of the programs that I've written grants for still exist today. But like I said, I'll be traveling to Las Vegas in August. And actually, the other little tidbit is my daughter is currently the Miss Montana. So we'll be traveling together to represent Montana. Yeah, I know, Carol, you haven't heard that yet. So look her up. So we'll be traveling together to represent Montana. We're very excited. And she had kind of requested that I compete with her. And it's kind of a mommy-daughter thing now. I'm very excited. But at the national pageant, every state gets to represent their state with a slogan and an outfit on a national platform. I've chosen to represent something that's near and dear to our hearts, the MMIP movement. So at the national level, every woman gets to represent something important to them as well. I've commissioned a piece to be made. Unfortunately, it's not finished yet, or I would have brought it to show it to you. But my daughter actually designed a special ribbon dress to be presented on stage for her and I. So this dress will be presented twice, at my national pageant and at hers on the national stage. The ribbon dress opens into a full flare with long sticks, is kind of what we're envisioning at this moment, still in a work in progress. But the MMIP logo will be on both sides with the handprint. In the packet that you have, you can see a rendition of recent photos of me in representing MMIP as well. This will also be a streamed pageant. So not only will it be presented in front of a national audience, it will be streamed all across America. So bringing our issues and the movement to many, many more people that may never have seen or been aware. Interestingly enough, I met with the vice president of the Mrs. America pageant this last week. She was unaware, and she's from Montana. So we have a long ways to go to bring awareness to this issue. And I'm very proud to be part of this and to build a partnership and showcase that. My ask today is that we can be partners. As you know, traveling is not cheap these days. And so pageants can be pretty expensive. So there's the costume, the outfits, there's the travel, there is hair and makeup, there's all kinds of stuff. But I want to do a good job representing our state, our people, our movement. And so for that reason, I'm before you to ask for some monetary sponsorship. In the packet, there's opportunities that discuss that and kind of show what I can do for the movement and moving forward, how we can be partners. So I'm open to any questions, anything about pageantry, anything about how I plan to represent. But I really thank you for your time.
Any questions?
Mr. Chair.
Or Alyssa? Go ahead, James.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so excited, honored to see you in this role.
Thank you.
And to find out that your daughter's also in a similar role is pretty exciting. I'm wanting to do the top sponsorship level myself, so I would support that.
Thank you.
Yeah, make that a motion.
Motion by James, second by Carol for the top sponsorship that we offer. All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you so very much. I really appreciate that. I can't wait to come and show you guys the address and bring you all the cool things and the details. And I will send the links out to whoever I can get it to you guys for the streaming and photographs and everything. I really, really appreciate it.
Good luck,
Thank you so much.
both of you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll bring a picture of Lola. She was busy today, but we'll get everything ready for you guys to have some information. Yeah.
I have Rob here. Can we get a picture with council and her?
Go ahead, Danielle.
I just wanted to say thank you. This movement means a lot to a lot of our people, and the way you represented us and have represented us at our events, it's wonderful. So thank you.
And you'll have to come back. Have to come back when you win.
I will.
Scooching in. Plans. No hiding them back. What do you think, coach?
Oh, I said I'm coaching.
You can coach it. Are we ready? We're good. Tom's not high. Okay, there. 3, 2, yep, 1. Take a couple. One more. 3, 1. All right. Punch your best smiles when I say 1, 2, 3. And the favorite. Cheese. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you get yours?
Yep, I got a couple.
Thanks.
You have a pen to write down my email?
No, but someone.
Or to me?
Oh,
And I'll
here we
send
go.
you
There's
guys a
one
note.
This is for fun anyway, so. Yeah, I think I've been here before.
Yeah. Thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate it.
What side do you want?
That's good.
Well, and oh, you want to see this one? Oh, I've got my tattoo. So this is also part of me. My Indian name is Good Horsewoman. So these are my triple ponies that go with me everywhere. Yeah, thank you, Rob. Good to see you.
Get yours? You know, quick. Please this. Okay, which one's which? One's the. The
I wish I could
right.
stay. I have to go back to work. Thank you.
Bring them both. That's true, that's true. I just. But.
Looks like Carol's busy. Daniel, what's your issue? Oh, caught you a good time.
I got recruited by Ralph Good.
Why can I ask you for?
You can pull rank. My game's been a little off. August 13.
Oh, yeah, I told you.
Take a week out.
I had three regulars, either Rob or Barry Hampton or
Tony. Tony's good. Barry's not paying. I'm losing distance.
Well, it's a short course. Short game.
True.
Okay, see. Good night.
Not as good. He was really
Oh.
better than me. Yeah, old child.
He did it 5 years. Very hand. All.
Go ahead, Danielle.
Wasn't sure if it was me or Carol there, but no, it just SCAHA did their grand opening, 4 new units in Polson, so 4 more families are gonna have beautiful new homes. So just a thank you, I guess, to Salish Kootenai Housing Authority for all their hard work and dedication on getting us more homes in the area for our people. And then we had medicine wheel riders come in yesterday, and when you're planning an event, you just never know how it's going to turn out, and it turned out way better than expected. And really want to thank everybody for coming and supporting our families who have lost loved ones and have loved ones still missing, and the support of the council for making that event a possibility. So I really appreciate the support for the MMIP movement. It means a lot to people. I think we've seen that in this room yesterday. So thank you, Mike, Carol. Martin's not here, but you guys for sticking around and joining us yesterday.
Thank you, Danielle. Carol?
Just want to say, Danielle, thank you. You're doing an awesome job in murdered and missing Indigenous. And I've seen it really coming to the forefront because of your leadership on it. And so I appreciate it very much. And the speech you gave yesterday was very nice at the housing meeting. So thank you for doing that. And Jennifer was there. I attended the Dinner for Hope for the Boys and Girls Club at Howie and Diane Long's, and they had me do the prayer there. So that was a little bit different in front of all these big boop diddy doos. And we raised $655,000 that night. And of course, I bid on the cultural component of the Boys and Girls Club, and it was a $2,000 bid, but I bid 5,000 because that was the high bid. And then I had Mark Baker was there, and he matched my bid, I believe. And then there were like subsequent people that had come in and bid. And I don't know how much we raised for that part of it, but it had to be over, I would say over $10,000 we raised for that component, if not more. And so I'm asking the council if they would, I tried to text all of you and I can show you it wouldn't go through. And so I'm hoping that you will back me up on the bid that I made. If not, I will eat it. It's a lot of money. So, and I thought it was a good cause, and that was the only thing I bid on. I think Chad also bid, and there was a few others, Gary Pitts, maybe a few others that bid on it too.
Sounds like a good process.
And I let Greg know, and I said he of course said I needed to ask the council, in order to
And you're talking about 5,000.
5,000, yeah.
Oh,
Motion to approve the $5,000 donation that Carol
Thank you.
committed us to for the Boys and Girls Club, because there's so many of our tribal members go to the Boys and Girls Club. And it's an important resource for all the communities, at least Polson, Ronan, Pablo, St. Ignatius. Thank you.
motion by Tom. Second by Bing and Danielle. All in favor? We're unanimous.
I was wondering, in the future, is there a chance to put it in the budget so we don't have to surprise anybody? Maybe I'll make that request to Greg and see what he can do. Thank you.
James. James.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I think we all saw the email from Renee Kenmo on her daughter traveling with a tribal ID and having some issues with that. She said, I just wanted to inform you that my daughter flew down to Los Angeles for the weekend and she does not have a real ID yet. Security almost did not accept her because when she showed her tribal ID, the lady asked her if there was more, and my daughter was not sure what she was asking, what she was saying. So the security lady had paperwork and stated CSKT, and my daughter's ID only stated Confederate Salish Kootenai Tribe. So I think, I think this real ID the process has been accomplished by a variety of tribes, and I think we need to allow for tribal members to, if they want a real ID that's a tribal ID, then, there's tribes that have that process. I know Tulalip was one of them. You can get a real ID that's a tribal ID. You have to pay a little more for it, or you can get a regular tribal ID. And the other thing is, I know using it to cross the border, it needs a barcode on the back, and basically to have the information that's scannable for the border crossing. So I think it's been a long time that this has been coming. We've known about it for a number of years, so I think it's time that we get that done.
Thoughts? It's definitely been talked about for the whole time I've been on council. Jennifer.
Yeah, thank you. Len brought this up yesterday too, and maybe there's money to help us get enhanced IDs. And I think, one thing we've talked about is using the barcode for other things, as an entrance for things. And so maybe this would be a good time to do that too, to think about what other things on the reservation would we want a barcode for tribal members. And I know at Costco, cause they have a barcode thing now, and they can see my face. So, you can't give your card to someone else and scan it because your face will show up. And so it should, so they can see that it's your card. So, there might be things that we set that up to, I don't even know, but that's just a possibility. And, maybe for the fitness centers or something like that. But anyway, there's lots of other uses, I think. Advantages to having a barcode on our IDs. And maybe we could get better pictures, because like the picture like stretches your face out to the side. Anyway.
We want the one without the stretchy face. I believe that we could even contract with a tribe that does it to have them produce them for us. So it's definitely worth looking into. Len, you had an issue, Len.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and once again, good morning, everybody. And just quickly, I just want to acknowledge Kathy. Kathy, thank you for joining us again today. I really appreciate when tribal members come in and sit in and observe. So thank you for being here today again. Just real quick, over the weekend, we lost a young individual. It was the son of Derek Lozo. He was a non-member, and the family was requesting non-member burial assistance today. So I just wanted to get council approval for us to move on that. And yeah, Jennifer.
I was already kind of working on that. I just needed to know which funeral home they were, because they also contacted me and I told them I would be able to do the 600. But I just need the mortuary to send it.
I'll get that information to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, they don't need council approval. That's an automatic.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's all I had.
Oh,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I forgot this one item. I know I mentioned it to the chairman and Martin, but Gail Decker called me last Friday, concerned that they were the highway department was going to put up a interpretive sign to explain the naming of the honorary naming of the section of highway south of Ronan for Vern Parrish, who was a Ronan community member that was a World War II hero. And Gail Decker, to his credit, was saying, well, we should, consider if the tribes want or the Charlo family would like to put information about Louis Charlo also in the segment of highway down on Evero, because there is no interpretation for that either to build for another World War II hero. So he was asking if council would support that, or, what would the process be? And I said, well, I know there's a lot of stuff's been written up on it when we did do that dedication. So maybe that information could be readily put on a sign, but I would bring it up to the entire council. And I mentioned it to Martin the other day. He was supportive. He didn't know what his dad would think. He just think that that might be, might be some family members that he would want to talk to too. But there is a time crunch. They want to get the sign made this month in August, not August yet, but in a few days, and have the sign put up in September and do official dedication on the Laverne Parish segment. So that's the request. Thank you.
There,
go ahead, Carol.
hey, Tom, was there other things named after him in Ronan area?
The football field is named after him.
Yeah, I wonder how many things you need named. I think it's a good idea, but I think, is that Missoula County where Louis Charlo is? And would we need to talk to them instead of Lake County? I don't know. Good idea.
Yeah, his concern was that Pat Marr, who's a classmate of mine, and we were part of a state champion football team in Ronan when I was in high school, and he's a veteran, so he was one that was promoting World War veterans and dedication of highway segments. Because I said, well, there's other segments of highway on the reservation named after other people in honor and respect of other people that have passed. He said, no, this is just centric to Pat, who was just pushing the veterans and the World War II veterans that are heroes. So it was specific to that. But down at Evero, we don't have a interpretive sign, pull out or anything. It's just the one sign. The other thing I mentioned to him was I did say to council about swap of right-of-ways, Big Arm versus the Crow Creek crossing down the river. And he once again affirmed that they'd be willing to do that, and no problem at all.
Is there any objections on council for moving forward with an interpretive sign for Louis Charlo down at the area that's named for him with the Charlo family's permission? We can put that in the record. Anything else for this morning? I don't know if we have Marie here yet. No, I don't know that. For the other guy.
Oh, no,
That's all county.
they were,
No. Yeah. Well, we have a break for a couple minutes. So 9:40. 10-minute break. Donuts calling. I don't know, are there any donuts? Maybe there aren't any donuts.
I like
We'll come back together. Morning, Marie.
Good
And
morning.
crew.
Yeah. That was on top. Okay, yeah. We're here today to give a general update of Three Chiefs and the happenings. Kind of like a quarterly report to council, just to let you guys know what's been going on in our neck of the woods. We continue to do our cultural education programming. Nadia's been doing a really good job at working with the schools, other tribal programs, and I'm gonna just let her give you a quick update of what she's been doing and planning.
That's quick.
Yeah, there you go.
Can you guys hear me now? Yeah, so I've been very busy. At the beginning of the summer, we were finishing up with schools, and in the month of May, I served over 5 schools and then went out to around 3 schools in Kalispell, in the Kalispell area. Since then, I've been working really hard on getting our powwow ready and our Native American Awareness Week. We're still figuring out some kinks, but we're super excited. Our powwow will be on the 16th of August around 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. We're open for like vendors, and hopefully you guys can bring your families. It should be a nice little social powwow. Brain fart. What else have I been up to? We have been supporting camps. We supported tribal ed. We're going to be working with tribal health and doing their Harvest Fest. We're going to be doing native games for them in the month of August and September. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, yeah, we're doing with the Missoula County Fairgrounds, we're putting on a dancing display. Or a dancing group so that the vendors and people can visit and see Indian people and get a taste of real culture and let people show off their skills. So we do that every year also for Hamilton Bitterroot Day, but we're going to be doing it also for the Missoula County Fairgrounds in next week on the 5th. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. In the museum, excuse me. We have the new display of the jacket that belonged to Chief Charlo and was donated by Yvonne Grenier. I would say a different one. So that's up, and we continue to work with inputting stuff on the computer and doing photos and getting those organized. In the fall, well, maybe next month, I will start again having guest speakers come in and talk and trying to get a hands-on display for people who want to see things and know how things work. And another thing that I'm supposed to be doing that I haven't started is showing people how to care for their items, care for their photos. And I'm gonna do that, videotape that so it can be put out on our page. I think that's about it. Oh, and I'm down to working part-time. So.
want to add this one more thing that education's been doing. We've been working with Shadow Devereaux and their imaging and media crew on how to make like how-to videos and put them onto QR codes. And then during my classes that I offer, either give them out for people to finish their project or to remind them how to do another one, and then also sell them in our gift shop. We've got a ribbon skirt one coming, a wing dress one coming, and then moccasins. So that's also been something that I've been excited for. That's it.
Our gift shop has been doing good. You know, during the week, the sales go well. We have 2 clerks that have been working Friday, Saturday, at the gift shop, and we've been monitoring the visitors that come in on the weekends. And, I was comparing, the visitation, because we've been concerned that the numbers are way down on Saturdays. We employ 2 clerks that we pay them out of the revenue of the gift shop that comes in from there. Saturdays in July, we had a total of 77 visitors total that come in for the gift shop or the museum. And we keep track. Anytime somebody walks through the door, it's marked down if they're an adult or an adult and a youth and how many's in the group. And in 2024, we had a total of 133 that visited. And it's just, you know, the numbers are really down. And I was talking to staff about ways to try and entice the visitors to come more. We get tour buses, but they tend to come Monday through Fridays, not on the weekends. So we are struggling with weekends, with visitation. It is down. Sales are down in the gift shop for the weekends. So that's a concern that we've been having and that we're looking at ways to address that, of having some Saturday activities and you know, trying to get out the word more. And I've been putting the word out to everybody. Hey, we're open Saturdays. I get out on social media and on our webpage, people search for that also. So this last quarter, which runs March or April, May, and June, we had a total of 2,994 visitors. And out of those visitors, we had about 200 that visited the exhibit room. And I have a hard time calling it a museum, and I know museums come in all sizes, but the site that we're at right now, we have the old meeting room of the bank. That's our exhibit room, that's our museum, and we have an additional office space that we have photos and items that are not part of the original collection stored in there or exhibited in there, because the room that has the main exhibits and the artifacts that came back from restoration after the fire is armed with fire suppression. And so if anything was to, you know, a fire, unfortunately, if that happened again, that room would lock down with the fire suppression as long as that door was closed, and the 2 repositories have the fire suppression, which I believe is really important to have, something that we didn't have at the People Center. You know, and we've done a lot, and we continue to do a lot between our education programming in the museum, and I know Jerry's a woman of few words, but they do a lot in curation. We've had some interns in there. Amy Webster finished the grant, the IMLS grant, even though it was canceled. April 8th, the government canceled that IMLS grant. She came in to finish the grant. She came in on her own, volunteering time just to make sure that it was completed properly. She's trained Jerry, myself, how to work the Past Perfect program so that we can continue that. Past Perfect is a museum program where all the information for every item, you know, if we have a beaded bag that comes in, it's documented on the condition, where it came from, who owned it, how it was put together, and then all that information goes into that Past Perfect program. And then where it's located, is it on exhibit and display and where at? or is it in one of the repositories, in what box and what shelf? And then any work that goes into anything goes into that Past Perfect program. And that program is accessible from anywhere. We can get on it here, and there's only 5 people that it's licensed to within our program. So we can gain access to that anywhere for any of the information or records. All the past records from the People Center are being downloaded into that program as well. So there's a lot of work that goes on in curation and museum exhibits, and then these two are linking what they do together to put on some programming coming in the future. And then one of the main reasons I came to you guys today also is to talk about moving forward with a new facility for Three Chiefs. Where we're at now is we've outgrown it really fast. It does not meet our needs as a museum curation facility. When I think about our collections and how valuable every piece is, every item is, and its importance to our history and our culture as Scully Oxmucknick, all those items deserve a safe place. All those items deserve to be in a facility that is secure and safe. The bank building, I know that a lot of work went into it to get us in there, but it's not completely safe there. The front doors we've addressed with maintenance before. It just got one simple deadbolt. Somebody at one time had came and, just held onto the door and pulled and pushed and popped the door open. And then the alarms didn't even go off. It just stayed that way. We searched and researched, and the police department came and did their report on it, knew who the guy was. So what I did was I went back to the People Center because I knew there was a mechanism on the education room door that we used to put on there that was added security, that if somebody tried to jiggle that door, it wasn't going to move. So I went over there and I cut that off from that door, and I brought it back, cleaned it up, and that's what we use on the front door now. So if anybody tries to jiggle that door, it's not going to give because it's got that U-shaped device in it. And we use the back entrance for leaving and, coming and going. And we have a beautiful gift shop there. And I know you guys have been in there to see it, and it's wonderful. Lucy does a great job. Shopping from Native American artisans, Native American owned businesses, and keeping it supplied for everybody. But our museum should be at least that size. When you come in there, and then we talk about us being a tribal museum, and we have just 2 small spaces, and our gift shop is double the size of what we should have. I'm not trying to downplay our gift shop in any way, but what I'm asking for is more space for our museum, an adequate space to be able to tell our stories and have our exhibits, and a facility that meets what we call museum standards. Museum standards has everything to do with climate control. Where we're at now, we have a hard time with the climate control because it controls every room on the first floor or every room on the bottom floor. Her office is freezing all the time. I mean, ice cold in there. But we have to keep the air conditioners on so that both repositories and exhibit rooms stay at 68 degrees.
Winter. And then the winter, it's opposite. So then my office gets so hot that it was like burning my cheeks because we have to keep the downstairs so warm for the repository.
But yeah, so, those are things that we're struggling with, keeping daily count of what the temperature is in there, because humidity is just as damaging to the artifacts as the fire, because you play that high-low game with the heat and the humidity, and things start to break apart. And those artifacts are really fragile right now, coming back because of the soot damage, because of the heat damage. And they've been cared for to the best that they can be, and we're doing the best that we can to make sure that they stay cared for. We have problems with the water and sewer in this building, and it seems like everywhere we go, we have that problem. We had it in Mission. We had it at the People Center. That it seems like that stretch with the water and sewer just has never been adequate for the amount of buildings that are in that area or the houses in that area. I met with Lands a couple times over the phone, over emails, and then I finally was able to sit and go over their maps and look at sites that are available. We found that being in Mission, we were very successful in Mission. Because we were off the highway, we were right next to Allard's General Store and everything that they had going on. So we found that having easy access to us is important. People message us or go on Google and say, I had a hard time finding you guys, so we just left. We'll try and catch you the next time. Going north is really hard for visitors to find us. Some of them don't want to make that turn to come back and see us. If you're going south, there's 2 ways, 3 ways to get to us, but not having direct access has been detrimental, I think, to our visitation as well. Land showed me 3 different sites that are available, and you should have those maps on your emails. One of them is north of the People Center where they used to be, and but the site is small, and I don't think that would be feasible for us to be squeezed in between Marge's house and S&K and kind of tucked towards the back there. The second option he gave was I can't remember where they are. Oh, yeah, there was a Polson one that was at the top of the hill. This one, and then he showed me one in St. Ignatius that got my interest. It is on Old Highway 93, south of the Longhouse. And all that pasture, it's owned by the tribes and it's irrigated, reserved for irrigation. But he said in the agreement with them, it showed me in the map that where the irrigation goes, the corners are available and unused. He uses one corner to store all of their hay bales or hay rolls. But there's a section and it's right next to Margene Acey's place there in St. Ignatius. And I can't remember how much is there, but there's plenty there. Thank you for the map. There's plenty there in the St. Ignatius site that would house a new facility and have enough outdoor space for us to have our powwow, to have our native games, to have the Native American Awareness Week. We're going to do our best to put it on over here and hope that that we have enough space to do it. We're trying to get the back area mowed so that we can use that area down below for some of the activities that'll be there. We're concerned about, having kids' games on the east side of the building because it's right next to the highway. So we're going to look at getting some that plastic fencing to put up there during the activities. I think that the site in St. Ignatius would be beneficial to Three Chiefs, not only because of location, but access. You come off the main highway there by S&K, and then you just come in past there, and then Three Chiefs would be there. I think would have a beautiful site, and I know that people up north would say, well, now we have to go farther. You guys are back in St. Ignatius. A lot of people just come to shop. So our answer to that would be, we would love to work with gaming even now to try and get a gift shop in their new facility, so that we would have not only a gift shop, but like a little information center as well that would give, a little brief history. Both casinos already have space set aside for us to tell stories. Gray Wolf gave us like these huge panels or huge areas that we put up history and tell our stories, and same up here at Quatucknuk. So I think we could do the same in the new facility as well. I don't know if you guys have any questions or comments. I don't know where we go from here, to tell you the truth, because we haven't had any help. We haven't had, I think I met with Jordan Thompson once. We talked about, there was some ideas out there about combining the Bison Range with Three Chiefs. And I met with Whisper, we talked about that, and we both had concerns of who does what and who would lose their identity in that process if we're both into one facility. You know, and I don't know if she made it. Oh, she did. Yep, I asked her to come so that she could give her thoughts as well on, you know, putting the Bison Range new facility and then putting Three Chiefs in there as well. I think that we both have two really important ways to tell our stories, and they're separate from each other. And I would hate to see us to be combined as one. So I'm going to let Whisper offer her comments as well.
Whisper, before you go, Whisper, I got Carol and I got Tom.
Okay, sorry.
Carol, you're all right? Tom?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, you've heard me talk about this before, and I was always concerned when the People Center site was proposed and we were working on it, and there were 3 locations that were proposed. Valley Hill, this is before anything with the Bison Range, and you know, the out behind Job Corps, in the industrial park here in Pablo. And I felt that it was a colossal mistake to place the People Center where it was here in the industrial park. And it would still be for me, especially now with the separated highway and difficulties turning, for even us as local access users, it's a difficult location, let alone trying to provide a revenue stream from and educating foreigners and tourists and the like at that location. So I definitely know that we provided a temporary, as we should provide housing for the Three Chiefs, and a place for them, and it's temporary in my opinion. And so I would definitely support, you know, moving to some place, but it's location. So for me, it's like, how can we make sure that there's a revenue stream to help support the facility and the activities that are so important that you guys provide? And that's critical for me. So it's that access to Highway 93 is really important. I started thinking more about, you know, and that's the cistern on top of something else. That's how you know, a new entrance to the Bison Range. Maybe that's where the Three Chiefs could be. There would be 2 visitor centers, one at the north end on the existing facility that Steph operates, and a new facility which would be the Three Chiefs up on Valley Hill, two endpoints. Well, that's a pretty good idea. I mean, that's a location. That's an original thought that it should be there, because there's a lot of space. After we bought that land up, we bought 3,000 acres from Kermit Anderson up there for Valley Hill. I mean, that wasn't our property. We bought that. And Mickey Pablo and I talked about having our own little Bison Range there, or, you know, doing development there. And of course, the value of it as that promenade for looking at the Mission Valley, looking at the Mission Range. What a fantastic location. Means so much to everybody. So that was all thought processes in building that. And then when we did the scenic turnout, we designed that on the second run when we did the People's Way to make that an access to the Bison Range. That's why there's an underpass, and that's why there's sites on both sides. So it's ready to be that access to the Bison Range. What we want to put there to add to that entrance is all of our own choice. And it's all of our choice if we want to do it for economic development, to try to stimulate our economy with our craftspeople. We want to educate tourists more about the reservation and where they're going, or about environmental things that we are concerned about in the region, or whatever it might be. It's a great opportunity to do it there. And as I was looking at the other facilities, and I'm glad you mentioned this, because I know that Jennifer has brought this up, the new casino in Polson. And you brought that up. And I think that's a great idea, that we would have something there. Maybe a small visitor center or something. Does that mean that the entire Three Chiefs has to be there? Well, it could. Actually, if there's enough land there to do it. But is that a good spot for it? I don't know, but certainly a good place to educate and generate a revenue stream. Then I started thinking about the Arley Powell grounds and the rodeo grounds going away, and Pete White sent a proposal. It made me think more about that facility too. And thinking about that land and how popular that celebration has become. And the sheer number of visitors that were there this year. Each year it seems to be, I thought we would never surpass the centennial event, you know, the 100-year event, but man, it's really something, and it's just grow and grow and grow. And I think about that facility being unused, wanting to host other powwows or celebrations, the grounds that are there that are available to do whatever you want to do, and the proximity of Highway 93. You could actually look over there from Highway 93 and see a building if you wanted to build one right where the powwow ground or the rodeo grounds are. It's easy access in and out. And I thought, well, maybe that's a site that could be considered. Again, it's that issue coming south for a lot of people. It's quite a ways. But if you had other outlets to buy crafting supplies, like in Polson, say like at the new facility, the new casino, then that hits some of that need that I think some of our people would like to see. But I think that, you know, where's the available land? We do have a lot of land, we just don't have a lot of highway frontage. So it's going to be something for me that's can help sustain itself wherever it is. And it's, you know, somehow either through that franchise out of sub facilities, like you just mentioned, for more of, you know, revenue stream and service to our membership. I think we can come to a good spot. I think we really can. And I support at least this, not where you're currently at, and not in Pablo. So long story short, thank you, Mr. Chair.
I've got Whisper and then Jennifer. Go ahead, Whisper.
Lumps. I guess when I've been thinking about how to expand museums, and definitely Maria and I have been communicating about these things, and there's a couple other things we've talked about because we do have some similar functions, but maybe different audiences in a way, where some of the Three Chiefs is a lot more community-based, though also revenue generation and sharing our story, where I feel like the Bison Range is more that wildlife management, protection, sharing our story. We don't have as many community-based activities there. We'd like to do a little bit more, but not as much as the Three Chiefs does. Eating the elephant of being, like, at my level, a biologist and trying to figure out how to build important infrastructure has been a challenge. And I think that's been part of what Maria and I have talked about. One thing that I was able to do for Bison Range was we had a donation of some funding for master planning. So we've got the contractor in place. We're getting ready to look at Valley Hill or the current location for creation or development of the visitor center and another entrance. So that's how I've tried to conceptualize eating this elephant. Okay, how do I break off a piece? Part of that was maybe not being coupled with Three Chiefs, because then that was complex. And how do we build this facility large enough and still generate revenue and having all of our staff? And so it has been a little bit of us working with Jordan and Tony and Rich and trying to say, how do we move forward and get this done? So it hasn't been easy. We are still trying to keep going, and I don't know the next step after that. I mean, I appreciate everyone looking for avenues of funding generation, as maybe we've all been doing. I think that that's how we keep moving forward and thinking about. Another thing, we have a meeting later today to talk with IT and finance about is credit cards and credit card companies that take credit cards so that we're not paying too much in fees. But also, we don't have independently, like a retail store program, software. Bison Range uses Square, Three Chiefs used to use QuickBooks, and so we've asked IT and finance to meet with us to say, how do we get a program so that we're actually functioning well as a retail store? That's been a really big challenge as well. That's labeling, inventory, pricing, tracking, gift certificates, all the metrics that are picked up behind that. So that's another big challenge that we have, and we have a meeting about that today. So we're working to try to get out information as much as possible, but it is a challenge.
Jennifer and then Carol.
Yeah, thank you for coming in and, you know, one thing I agree with Tom about is like a highway, closer to the highway, like you said, when you were in Mission, the more business you got. And, you know, one thing that comes to mind in terms of attracting people, especially on weekends, is offering some kind of food. And I'm thinking of, you know, the next facility, even if you guys don't do it, building the space and renting it out. So, you know, so Jerry and you know, so you guys aren't back there like slinging hash and
Right.
making fry bread. But I think if you build the space and a commercial kitchen, then that opens it up to other things too. And I think like a commercial kitchen could be rented out and a vendor could come in, because I can't think of any place on the reservation where you could go and get fry bread.
Right.
And a lot of people would love to try something. And I think about the museum in Washington, DC, the Native American Museum. I think that's the best part of it, is that there's a little food court there and you can get different foods from different tribes all over the United States. And it's not fancy, but it's really cool. And I think that, and then their gift shop. I think those are the two best things in that museum. And I know your museum would be better, actually, I think could be. So, you know, one thing I'm thinking about, a couple ideas, is that we have talked about establishing different committees for different things. And what you're trying to do is a big lift. And it's really hard if you've never done that before. And so I'm thinking this would be a good opportunity to have a committee of people and who can bring some other skills like capital fundraising and how to work with architects and stuff like that, and to help move it forward. And then the other idea is maybe we contract with someone who does this and say, okay, we're going to do a contract with someone and they're going to move Three Chiefs forward. And that and included in a contract like that would be capital fundraising, somebody who knows how to raise $5 million and, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, I just went to a groundbreaking in Polson last week or recently, and they raised $14 million to build a new clinic in Polson. And so, you know, you want people who know how to do that, who know how to raise that kind of money, because I know you have money from your insurance settlement, but, you know, I think this could be much grander than what you had before. And I love the idea of being in, I mean, I live in Polson, so, but I like that I at least having a satellite office in Polson, I think would be really nice, because it really annoys me when I meet people who don't know they're on a reservation. And I think, you know, that's not on you, but I think there's lots of things we can do as a tribe to tell people you are on tribal land. In fact, everywhere you go in America, you're on tribal land, but you're on a reservation, you're in a tribal place here. And a lot of people don't even know that. You know, we have some little signs at each end of the reservation, but, you know, and I think there could be so many cross pollinations going on. Cause I was just in the, I have shopped at both gift shops, yours and the one at the Bison Range. They're both really good. And I was just in the Bison Range gift shop yesterday, And I noticed, I'm like, wow, SNK Gaming doesn't have any stuff here. Like, here's a discount, come play at the casino for $5 off. Or there's nothing to cross-pollinate to the Three Chief Center to say, hey, you know, here's a little card for a 10% discount if you visit the Three Chief Center or something like that to sort of cross-pollinate the stuff that we have. And so anyway, those are my thoughts about that. So I just think either a committee or we contract with someone knows how to do capital fundraising. Because that's hard to do and it's hard to ask people, like, who do you ask? How do you ask? It's a whole art form. And there's people who already know how to do that very successfully. And, one thing that we've talked about before is having a development person. I think it's more critical now than ever that we have a development office at CSKT because we've already established a nonprofit, but we need someone who can raise millions of dollars for us for all kinds of things, especially with the US government being as volatile as it is right now. And things are going away, people are going away. So we need to, okay, not count on that as much and fortify what we can do. And and having a development person. So maybe this is an opportunity for us to hire a development person. One of their tasks, raise money for Three Chiefs, raise money for our homeless people, and start building these things because there are people who would give money to very specific things.
Right.
One of my friends started a home for teen mothers, and someone in Bozeman who was like insanely wealthy said, I want to be anonymous, but I'm going to write you a check for like a lot of money to fund most of it because that was something that person cared about. So, sometimes you'll just tap into someone who says, I really care about cultural preservation. I want to donate this. So anyway.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, it's an important thing and those objects have energy and power and they deserve to be protected. And they deserve dignity.
Yes,
So thank you.
thank you.
Go ahead, Carol.
I forgot what I was gonna say. No, I'm not trying to outdo Jennifer, but yeah, on the Boys and Girls Club, we raised 18 million for just the two clubs, and then now we got the Mission Club. And then just the other night, $655,000 just in one night. And so we know the money's here and it has to be the interest of the people's interest, what they want to give to. And to me, culture is huge. But I was gonna say the building down there, Allied Waste and USDA, where they're located, that building's for sale. Not that I'm trying to buy a building or even sell a building, but yeah, it's that's something that to me is right in the heart of the reservation. You could have two satellites and then have that as the big location. So anyway, it's something to think about. I don't know where we get the money, but certainly there are locations out there that are ideal, that are in the heart of our reservation. Thank you.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Whisper.
Thank you. I have one more comment after Jennifer's discussion, and that is that we've tried to explore that giving opportunity. We know that we have the 501c3, but we don't know how to utilize that. One, because we haven't done that before, but two, how the structure's set up, like if CSKT has somebody functioning and moving forward. Steph and I met with Native Americans in Philanthropy and asked them, how does this work? How do you hire a giving person so that you have somebody out there actively getting money for you to build a visitor center or whatever we need? And, we looked on their website and they have a job description for that person and it looks all great. They're making like 65,000 a year, which we don't have to pay for but we don't have that money to pay for somebody. So then it's like, okay, well, they work for less because until they make more money. So it would be amazing if the tribes had that person so that we could just go to them and utilize them to be making that for everybody versus just Bison Range trying to hire somebody that just does that for us. I think that's an opportunity to utilize and leverage some of those funds and that person's charisma, because I don't even know how to train that person if we did hire somebody.
Other thoughts? Marie? Jennifer?
I just wanted to, add to everything that was being said, we've done a few events where we've included the Bison Range and Three Chiefs and all the tribal owned businesses. And it usually comes around Christmas time where you have to fill out your card and shop at every one of these places or be at every one of these places. Then you turn it in at the end for door prize drawing, and we have like several different baskets that you can win. And that's been successful. It encourages people to shop at all of our tribally owned businesses. Also with, something that I've been exploring, I went down on my own to Spalding, Idaho, to the Nez Perce National Historic Museum. And I told my staff, I would really like to bring them to a couple of these different sites so they can see and feel exactly what I felt when I walked into their facility. And, it's not huge, but it's wonderful. It's the way they were telling their stories and, the gift shop and the auditorium that you watch their videos of their people telling you about the Nimi Poo and their history and their culture. And it's exactly what we have on our wish lists at Three Chiefs. We did meet once with Patty Hibbler, and that's what she asked us to do, was to write down all our wish lists. And that she was going to try and set up something like that for us, but it just never did happen. And I just think it's really important for us to see what's out there and get those ideas as to how we want to tell our stories. It's not just an exhibit to tell our story. It's the activities that we do. It's the storytelling and, bringing in our tribal people like Troy Felsman. Jerry brought him in to give a presentation about families and history, and it was so very well received. People are waiting for the second phase of that so that they can continue to learn about not only their own families, but tribal families. I also was in a museum over on the Tulalip several years ago. And when you walked into their hallway, it was like a huge exhibit on their ancestry. And they even had a kiosk that you could go and get into the kiosk and enter your name and your tribal ID number and then do your own family research. That's something that I would like to see also at Three Chiefs, so that we'd be able to have a facility there where our tribal members would be able to come in and do their own research on their families, and the information would be there for them. And it'd be something that's available just for our tribal members and our descendants to come in and learn about who they are. And it connects to who we are as Skali Oxmucknik, knowing who your family is and where you come from and who made what and how we gathered and, our seasons. It's just so important to be able to tell those stories and share that. And that's exactly what we strive to do at Three Chiefs. So any help that we can get, because I don't know how to fundraise. I've been on some fundraising committees where I had a job to do, a certain chore to do, but there was a lead there that took over, and they're the ones that designated, you do this, you do that, and then we come back together. And I want that for us. I want that development person to be able to come in and work with all of us within the tribes that need that assistance and guide us. And that's one of the main reasons I'm here today also, is to ask for that guidance and ask for that support. We do little fundraisings at Three Chiefs, Indian tacos and Frito boats and, lunch things and selling kits so that we can raise money to put on our powwow. A small social powwow. We don't have the big fundraising committee to do it, but we're gonna do it. Whether we have enough money or not, we want to be able to have that celebration for the community and thank everybody for being a part of Three Chiefs in one way or another, and then come back in September with our Native American Awareness Week to bring that back for the schools and groups to come and learn more about who we are as Salish, Pandare, and Kootenai people.
Jennifer?
Yeah, I have been to two really good Native museums. One was the Pequot. Have you been to theirs?
No, but people send me pictures and things. They say, oh, you got to go here, and they'll send pictures, and that's one of them that, yeah.
I think theirs is the largest in the world. And I also have been to the one in Vancouver at the University of British Columbia. I think theirs is the largest collection, and I was so excited to go there. And they only display a very small fraction of what they have. So, you know, they advertise like the largest collection in the world, then you go there and it's like, oh my God, there's like 20 things here. My God, you know, it's not, they don't just display what they have. And then the Shaka piece. So I think that would be, I mean, I'm always saying like, I'll volunteer to go to Hawaii, but I think that would be very useful for you, for your staff
Yeah.
to be able to go to at least like the Shaka piece in Minnesota, because theirs is world class, you know, and they're like a super insanely wealthy tribe, but their museum is like, when you walk in, you're like in a different world. And the Pequot Museum is that level too. And theirs is like a spiral. If you've ever been to the African American Museum in Washington, DC, like the bottom level is slavery. And then as you go up in time. And then there's like replicas of slave boats. And it's so awful. Like you can really imagine like what these people endured. And then as you go up, it goes up in time. So chronological time, then you go to a different time era when you go on a different floor. And the Pequot Museum is like that too. You start on the bottom level and then you walk in a spiral. And then as you go up in time to different time eras, and they're both really cool. And but I think that like the both of your gift shops are better than those gift shops. And when I go to places, I love to buy native stuff, and I buy it year round for Christmas. And I'm thinking, you know, where can you go on the reservation to buy regalia? If you want to just buy regalia and you don't have anybody in your family who makes it, or you don't know people, or I've seen on Facebook, people pay someone to do it and then they forget it. You know, you're kind of on this trust thing if you're paying people you don't really know. So where can people go on the reservation to buy a jingle dress or to buy a grass dance outfit that's already made? Because especially if you're doing it for kids, you know, it's not going to last that long and you have to get a new one. And I think that the Three Chiefs could be a good place for that, where if you want to buy, you know, whole sets of regalia, that would be a place, because I don't think there's any place that you can do that. And anyway, so I just think the possibilities for it are really big, and having known people in my family who've done development, that's a whole profession. You don't really train someone to do it. You hire someone who already knows how to do it, and they pay for themselves like 1,000-fold, like really good ones do, because there's lots of things you can get through good development people. They can get people to donate art, land,
Wow.
all kinds of things. You know, when people die, though, and we've had that happen just, and as a tribe, non-members have passed away and they wrote in their wills that when they die, they want all their land to revert back to the tribes. But a good development person will facilitate that and like cultivate those relationships. So there's so many ways we can benefit from having a good development person. And it's an art.
Tom, then James?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mike paid me to say this. He wants you to move to the bathhouse in Hot Springs.
Is that a confirmation that you're rebuilding the bathhouse?
Yeah, I'll try to be quick. You know, I was thinking something that you said, Marie. My mom used to work for Lawrence Aripa back in the middle 70s. And I felt like as a little kid, back before Coeur d'Alene had the casino and all that, you know, I felt like we lived and played and worked in a museum at Lawrence Arepa's shop. And the amazing artwork that was there. And some of it we, you know, had as a family, but lost to two different fires. But I support your efforts, Marie. And I think getting a development director or an officer to help with both these issues and others that we have as a tribe. You know, there's allies of the tribes out there that are looking to give us funds to help with these type of things. But it's having that right person to make those connections, you know, and go schmooze with, you know, very wealthy individuals that live all around us, you know, and have those connections. So I absolutely support. And I think figuring out that spot is that big key piece. You know, you're not at a really good spot where you're at for the kind of visibility that you need. But yeah, so I definitely support us figuring out how to get a development officer or director of some sort to help with both of these projects. So
Well, thank you.
Tom, then Jennifer.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, you mentioned Shadow, and yesterday afternoon, I didn't make the writer event because I was doing a 3-hour interview with Shadow and Keelan Williams about the skate parks. So it was really a documentary about skate parks. When you're working with folks like that, that's another way to do. You're thinking about fundraising, you know, is telling your story in a documentary, getting that out there, and that's another tool in the tool bag that's really important. And you're already working with experts that could help do that.
Jennifer.
Thank you, Tom. You know, yeah, really that doing a digital tour, and I know you guys have talked about that before, but when I was an English teacher, I used to teach the Diary of Anne Frank, and you can go to the Anne Frank house online and go on a virtual tour of it. And I used to do that with my students, and it was so good because you could see like, it's like you're walking through the place where they were hiding. And I don't know, it's very good. So you could even create virtual tours of places that like go back in time. And this is what the reservation looked like 200 years ago. This is what people were dressed like, you know, and like I said this recently, but I saw a picture of my grandfather when he was a baby and his mom was holding him, and all of his clothes were handmade. Like everything he was wearing, his little buckskin pants, like everything he had on was made by hand.
Mm.
And I remember thinking how much time has changed. Like, you know, my day-to-day dress, like everything I wear is made in a store, not by someone, my family. And so that's one thing, like with the tours but I really think that it's important for you guys to be able to visit places. And I went to a presentation by the Palm Springs. There's a tribe in Palm Springs, and they have a new spa there, and it's less than 5 years old, and it's the #1 spa in the world.
Wow.
And it's a spa. And Tom was joking about hot springs, but I really think that there should be a way for you guys to go to at least there. I've never been to Palm Springs, but there's the spa there that's world class. There's hot springs there, and the tribal members of that tribe can go there for free. And there's a museum there.
Mm.
And the way that they make money is by combining all of these things together. And when there's ecotourism, when there's cultural tourism, people stay longer and they spend more money. It's better economic development to do it that way, to combine all of those things. And then there's like walking paths, so people can go there and like go, and then there's a casino and a hotel. All of these things are combined together. So there's the spa, the hot springs, the museum, the world-class casino and hotel are all together in the same like walking distance. And then there's like beautiful walking paths. And people from all over the world go there for that place. And but it's also, they've maintained the healing waters for their people. So I think there's like a time that might even be reserved for just tribal members and they can go there for free to this like beautiful world-class thing. And we should
Nice.
have that. Our people should have the most dignified things on the reservation.
Yes.
And so anyway, I think that would be ideal. I don't know where the money would come from, but I think that would be essential for you guys to visit a place like that, to visit Shakopee, to visit the Pequots, or, you know, whatever, like like 3 or 4 places that to get some ideas, like how can we make this something spectacular and maybe something we have on a grander scale that we haven't even thought about yet.
Yeah. You bet.
Thank you for the report, Jerry. Nettie.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I appreciate each and every one of you and, you know, your support. I know that we have it and thank you, Whisper, for coming to join us. Yeah, you know, we've been feeling lost over there and, there's a lot of times where we sit and we talk about our wishes and our dreams for the culture center and what we want it to be and we just don't know how to get to that next step. And I told my staff, I think finding a site is going to be our first step to move forward. And when we have the site, I believe that we can start the train rolling again to try and look for these other key components that we need for fundraising and architecture and design and, you know, getting our tribal people involved with our decisions so that they're a part of the culture center. And I don't want to leave our people out of our plans, because I believe that if I put them in with us, knowing from the start what's going on, that they'll buy into it better, they'll be a part of it. And, you know, and the culture center is about each and every one of us and our families, so. But lamb lunch.
Good, Lynn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Marie, I want to challenge you to keep coming in here and reminding us and pushing us and challenging us to make sure that we're moving forward with something with 3 chiefs. Okay.
Okay.
It's really important otherwise, because, you know, council has 100 things going on at once but we don't want to leave 3 chiefs off to the side. It's just as important as all the other programs. So please, by all means, come in.
Will do. Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Faces.
Have a good day, ladies.
Can we go to an executive for the next issue?
We'll go out of regular into executive. Pat. Good morning. What?
Not this issue when Lynn is up. Sorry about that.
Oh. We'll go out of executive back to regular. Morning. Berkey, morning, Pat.
We are presenting before you today a proposal for a resolution for approval to apply for the HEART grant, helping every area of relationships thrive. It's a funding opportunity from the Administration for Children and Families, provided these grants just came through. There was a deadline that had come and gone on grants.gov and nothing was listed. And on July 15th, they released 4 grants that we qualify for. And on July 17th, we were recommended by an independent federal contractor to apply specifically for CSKT. And so we put all our ducks in a row. Our grant writer has been busy throwing this grant application together. It's to serve tribal individuals and families. And the number on the bottom of that is $498,652.
Thank you, Pat. And I got a motion by Tom and a second by James to go forward with going after this grant. All in favor? I think we're unanimous. James?
Just a correction, we need the word provided needs a V. Provided.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Pat.
Then,
Courtney?
Also, Charlene has reviewed the financials and the grant, so
Good.
we'll have it out today by 2:00.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Carol? Yeah, we'll go out of regular into executive and we'll take 5-minute break. There you go. Che hoy.